what we're using in a patented registered trademark ingredient is important because it's science backed. They've got the clinical studies. So that ingredient's going to do what it says it's going to do. And consumers can look up suntheanine. It's a form of L-theanine, comes from green tea. And it's going to be very helpful for, I've got a huge list too. Stress levels is the number one. Sleep quality, energy and mood and focus, memory formation, healthy weight, and the effects of everyday stress. It can relieve the tension. It can lower your blood pressure. It's looking at all of these things. Cerebral Calm. Have the elevated mood.
Look for the green and white bottles there with the black top and bottom. We have a whole emerald section here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. Welcome back to the Healthy Habit Podcast, everybody. You might remember this guest from episode 27, 20 and 12, I think even 6. We're doing monthly check-ins here with this guest. We've got Stacy Faulkner back with us, folks, representing Emerald Labs. Stacy's worked in the natural health industry since 2000. As a national educator for Emerald Labs, Stacy provides insight and understanding to those seeking information regarding better health through proper supplementation and self-care. And today we're going to dive deep into the topic of mental health, pharmacological stigmas, and phytotherapy. Stacy, welcome back. How are we doing?
I'm doing well, Dan. Thanks for having me again. This is great.
Thanks for being so consistent. She's never missed an episode, folks. She is consistent. And actually, you're in downtown Buffalo, you said?
I am. I just came straight from Rochester. So
for more educational things, right, Emerald?
Yes.
There you go.
Doing that.
Okay, so the floor is yours then, Stacy. Tell us real quick your thoughts on mental health. Why did you want to have this as a topic today? Why is it on the radar?
Yeah, so great question. I'm sure most of your guests know already that our formulator is Dr. Mark Stengler. So these new formulas that we're starting to get out there are really proving to be showing Dr. Stengler an uptick in his patients on things that are kind of either reading a little bit more or that he's interested in what's going on as far as the mental health these days. And I can concur with that because if we look at the pandemic overall, we looked at a lot of isolation. We looked at a lot of uneasiness, unsureness. So a lot of anxiety, and that could be coupled with depression, depending on the person's baseline, or it could be suffering from both. I also believe it led to a lot of substance abuse, whether it be drugs, pharmaceutical, alcohol, food, just bad habits, repetitive habits, where people were kind of in this zone of not knowing what's next.
Right.
So I think with the mental health thing is a lot of people could be sharing with their traditional allopathic doctor, which most likely it's going to look like mental health issues. Though I hear you're saying you are depressed or you're having some anxiety. I hear that you can't sleep. A lot of the times we're going to be prescribed medications. Okay. And in my mind, there is still quite a bit of stigma out there for somebody to openly say they're bipolar, or I suffer from depression, or my anxiety is off the charts and I'm sweating all the time. I can't, my body thinks it's always stressed. I can't lose weight. So weight fluctuations, mood, anxiety, unease, substances. So we know that substances right away too can lead to highs and lows. So as far as the mental stigma, I think a lot of people are very shy about openly talking. I mean, we've got John Fetterman lately that's talking about his depression. We've got, some famous singers. I think Lady Gaga's come out. There's many people that have come out as far as in the forefront of the public eye that are really showing their openness to discuss mental health, because it could be just like any other disease or an ailment. And we just need to look at correcting that and working with products or ingredients that are really going to seek a resolution, and so the consumer can see a result. And my whole goal would to seek that out through nutritional supplementation as opposed to pharmaceuticals. Okay, so bad on the liver, sometimes that's really masking the situation, masking the brain, the personality. And so I'm kind of driving this toward the use that I'm seeing here with a lot of these patented ingredients of phytonutrients, phytotherapy. So phytotherapy in my mind is really the next big thing. And for your consumers or your listeners, that's just basically nutrients from a plant. So we've got phytochemicals, phytonutrients, plant therapy. So these are kind of all very similar in the same kind of realm. being studied, and we're getting some great results and some great, excellent clinical studies on a lot of things that are approaching mood disorders, anxiety disorders, restlessness and sleep, insomnia, and the list goes on.
Yeah, so there's a product here. I'm pulling up the Cerebral Calm from
Okay.
Emerald Labs, which again
Yep.
is the additive-free company. You know, we only have the vegetable
There it
cellulose
is.
capsule, Cerebral
Mhm.
Calm. So tell us about it. And
So
yeah,
yeah. So the cerebral calm, we came out, Dr. Stangler came out with something for calming the brain and also an elevated mood that we can get into for lifting, lifting the mood. Uh, these are kind of like pandemic babies. So what I understand is a lot of people are still suffering from a PTSD kind of standpoint of getting back to work, not knowing about work, unease, relationship building, kids going back to school, not necessarily doing that well. So there's a lot of anxiety out there.
yeah.
So this product, Cerebral Calm, it's just got 4 ingredients. And what we're starting with is the magnesium. We were using Albion Magnesium because Albion is a company we purchased the minerals from, and they hold the gold standard of excellence for chelating their minerals to amino acids. So basically for the
Hmm.
listeners, that's binding. So we have a very highly absorbable biglycinate. So that's when they bind the glycine molecules. Okay. And we're creating a biglycinate, which is several different magnesiums in the natural occurring form, but is highly beneficial for the person that's taking it and very, very extremely absorbable. So the magnesium in here actually helps create more GABA. GABA is one of our GABA is a neurotransmitter for calming neurotransmitter. And if you look at kind of brain stacking, people, if you want to do brain stacking in the order that our brain would normally do it under healthy nutritions, we would be looking at dopamine in the morning, get our feet on the floor, right? And
Yeah.
then we're going to get our list going, and then acetylcholine a little bit later to get that list done, listening to some brown noise, all very, very good and focused. Okay. Then, depending on the anxiety level, it would either be serotonin or GABA next, followed by serotonin or GABA. You can intermittently switch them depending on how much you kind of want to calm down. So
Yeah.
GABA is our neurotransmitter that is the calming neurotransmitter. So this product, Cerebral Calm, is the point of it is to reduce the excitatory stimulants in the brain. So whether it be at the end of the day or middle of the day, you're starting to get some anxiety, whether work is happening or kids or whatever's going on, okay,
Right.
just in your head. So the magnesium is going to help with the uptake and creation of the GABA, okay. Then Dr. Stangler's got suntheanine in here, and suntheanine actually increases the levels of GABA as well. So you can see this trend. And then Roman chamomile is in here. And so when I'm looking at magnesium, suntheanine is a patented L-theanine, okay? And then we look at Roman chamomile, and then finishing it off with some GABA, we're looking at a really a state of calm where your brain can actually kind of take a break. You're
Yeah.
not going to zone out because the suntheanine works with the brain waves, okay? And so when we're looking at the alpha brain waves, it's actually been shown to increase the mood,
Mm.
okay, create or increase more creativity, okay, calming the brain, and that's what we're looking for. So the suntheanine, and then last with the GABA, and then the Roman chamomile. So that is where we're looking at phytonutrients, okay. So chamomile, as most of us all know, we've always been encouraged to calm down at the end of the day or promote sleep or restfulness, is to drink a cup of drink a cup of chamomile tea.
Hmm.
So I believe there's like 120 different constituents to it. And so some of them, like apigenin, is good
Yeah.
for antiviral, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. There's 120 different kinds. But what we're looking at here is my research has showed me that it's been proven very effective for generalized anxiety disorder. And so that is the most common of the disorders
Hmm.
for this anxiety. And it can completely be curbed. And so the conclusions of studies that I read, the conclusions were that chamomile could actually reduce the amount of time in between a relapse for somebody getting overgeneralized
Mm.
anxiety disorder, because it can happen again. And
Right.
because it can happen again, what do we know about that? If you're not taking all your B complex on a regular basis, if you're drinking alcohol and have a poor diet, if you're under a very stressful situation or in a stressful environment, the B vitamins are easily depletable. So we want to make sure that B vitamins are in. We want to make sure that the brain is basically getting the neurotransmitters assimilated and produced by a healthy amount of B vitamins. But if we're not getting that support that we necessarily have, then that's when we need to start to look into other avenues.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing, guys. And again, the Cerebral Calm, this is through Emerald Labs. Cerebral, it's going to be helping the brain and focus and calm. People are stressed out. They can't sleep. Like you said, once the pandemic hit, it took a turn for the worst overall
Mm-hmm.
for mental health. And you mentioned suntheanine in there. That's a specific patented form of theanine. I
Yep.
pulled this up here through
Yep.
nutrascienceusa.com. One of the most effective ingredients for stress, relaxation, and improved quality of sleep. Suntheanine's also been studied for its benefits on the immune system, managing metabolic syndrome, and then ADHD as well. So that's cool that
It's
that's in there. That's
and like
important.
you said, as far as it being patented, so the consumers listening, what we're using in a patented registered trademark ingredient is important because it's science backed. They've got the clinical studies. So that ingredient is going to do what it says it's going to do. And consumers can look up suntheanine. It's a form of L-theanine, comes from green tea. And it's going to be very helpful for, I've got a huge list too. Stress levels is the number one, sleep quality, energy and mood and focus, memory formation, healthy weight, and the effects of everyday stress. It can relieve the tension. It can lower your blood pressure. It's looking at all of these things that helping with the mood. So suntheanine is also in Dr. Stingler's actually using it in our sleep formula as well. So when we
Okay.
talk about alpha, beta, those delta, those gamma ray, or all the brain waves, the suntheanine has been shown to work with several of the different waves and promoting rest, but not waking up groggy,
I see.
promoting a memory without waking up foggy, remembering what you did. And a lot of times if suntheanine is very helpful to be studying too with, or it's usually
Right.
you can wake up remembering the last thing you did with a restful night's sleep, and suntheanine really helps. And so does GABA. So for cerebral calm, especially for students too, anybody, this product, albeit it's just 4 simple ingredients that we all really, magnesium, like 300 different enzymatic processes, right? So many people are deficient in magnesium, and helping with the glutathione production, then that mood is going to shift as well.
Hmm.
But people need to be really aware, right, of
Interesting.
how anxiety can relapse, because if you don't provide your body with a healthy diet and healthy supplementation, then you're going to go right back, because if you don't have enough of your B vitamins in you, then your adrenals are going to start to suffer. And
Got
when the
it.
adrenals start to suffer, then they're going to scream out. The hypothalamus is going to try to get into control. And then everybody wants to produce more, especially thyroid stimulating hormone
Yeah.
starts getting affected by the adrenals. They all shout out. And so when we look at the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, people are suffering. And that's why
Yeah.
B vitamins are so important, to not have to get to you to an adrenal formula, to not have to get you eventually to a thyroid formula.
And we do have a Be Healthy formula,
Yeah,
correct?
the B complex, it's
Since
all
you
8 essential Bs.
perfect segue then into that formula. Go ahead.
Yeah, all 8 essential Bs, 4 of them are in the coenzymated form. So we're using the R5P as the B2, the P5P as the B6, the methylcobalamin superior position for B12, and L5-methyl tetrahydrofolate. So with those in general, in our B complex, we're looking at neurotransmitter production and assimilation. We're looking at adrenal gland support. We're looking at healthier digestion. We're looking at better sleep patterns, overall homocysteine, keeping it non-elevated. And then not to mention, pregnancy, staying pregnant, healthy pregnancy, nerve sheath protection. But when we look at those 4 as far as neurotransmitter production, this is where we want to know that the vitamins are so key as far as the B complex, not just B12. The complex is so important to have all of these fundamentals being supported by each other.
Yeah. No, we've seen people literally flip 180 towards better with B vitamins, like
Absolutely.
we've talked about a few episodes back. So that would be a good combination then to be healthy with, let's say, the Cerebral Calm. You can take
Why
that
not?
in the
Especially if they're
morning.
not already taking a B complex, or if they're
Right.
unless taking maybe a multi. And people need to understand, everybody wants a 1 a day, but we can't get all of the daily recommended
Yeah.
values in a 1 capsule. So you really would like to supplement with a B complex and more vitamin C later on in the day. Just keep the system flooded, because the B vitamins are the most easily depleted, correct? And so you start to see mental thought issues as far as poor mood, high anxiety. Nothing's being supported. So people would come in mainly to a health food store
Yes.
and address what? I'm feeling low, I'm anxious, I can't sleep. And so they're going to be looking for melatonin, ashwagandha, SAMe, where a lot of times if you get a nice, healthy, a nice, good formulated, methylated active form of a B complex, you can really start to nip it and flood your body with those Bs and get those fundamentals going again and supported. And then maybe you could start to supplement with the Cerebral Calm or whatever it is that you need, because you've got to realize your own baseline.
Right. Yeah, well said, Stacy. So, and the Cerebral Calm, you can take it during the day. It's not a sleep promoter.
Nope. Nope. You know, I'm thinking about how people wake up. Now, this is a good segue too, Dehan. Let's talk about an adrenal formula. Why would
Yeah.
someone say, well, why wouldn't I take an adrenal formula versus a cerebral calm?
Right.
So the more I think about it with that question, I don't know if I would take this right. GABA, normally the end of the day, and then we've got increasing levels from the suntheanine, and then with the magnesium, I might save this for when I get home or when I
Sure.
get in the car when I'm getting ready to
Relax.
get
Start
on the
winding
road.
down.
Start winding down those excitatory, stimulating, the monkey chatter. With adrenals, I'd love for people to wake straight up with that, knowing their baseline. If they're restless at night asleep, if they can't stop, biting the nails, chewing, overthinking, that's monkey chatter too. But when we're looking at an adrenal formula, most of the time they're going to include adaptogens, and everybody needs a different adaptogen, or
Right.
everybody not needs a different, everybody, the adaptogens work differently for everybody. So it's just that it's going to be an ingredient that's going to go to the source of whatever's causing this anxiety and kind of remedy it and calm a person down in a way that is supportive. So whether in the Emerald Labs, we have the B vitamins we just spoke of, everything except the B9, no methylfolate, but Dr. Stangler's replaced it with an adaptogen as far as B10,
Oh,
PABA.
okay.
A lot of people don't understand that PABA is an adaptogen. Fascinating, right? But then he's got royal jelly in there. He's got ashwagandha, sensual ashwagandha. We've got rhodiola and eleuthero, or some people might recognize that as Siberian ginseng.
Mm-hmm. And which formula is this one?
The adrenal. So that would
Okay.
be something I would recommend getting your feet on the floor. I would say dopamine for sure, starting your day, but then an adrenal formula, take your Bs later on or your multi. But also people can take one of the B complex and one of the adrenals, but I wouldn't say two and two. It's just too many Bs at once. Kind of want to
Hmm.
stretch that out. Because remember, they're water soluble. So sometimes if it's too much, it might be excreted.
Absolutely. And all the Emerald products, do you have any handy there, Baya? You had the Cerebral Mood.
Triple
Yeah.
calm.
So
I
yeah,
have the elevated mood.
look for the green and white bottles there with the black top and bottom. We have a whole Emerald section here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. And yeah, you're not holding it there, but you also mentioned the Adrenal Health. I have that one right here. The
Yeah.
Adrenal Health
And
formula.
well, yeah, people can go in and ask any of the team in there, and you've got a very, very educated team. Uh, Pretty much anybody you ask at the Healthy Habits is going to be extremely knowledgeable.
You
If
mentioned,
somebody, yeah,
yeah,
go
you
ahead.
mentioned in the Adrenal Health formula
Mm-hmm.
the Royal Jelly, which
Yeah.
has 6% 10 HDA, which is like the medically active ingredient in Royal Jelly. Tell us a bit about Royal Jelly. Why is that
So
included in there?
the reason is to reach me about the HTA. I remember that, but mainly I always recommend the royal jelly. It's very rich in B5 and B6.
Mm,
So again, calming, the B5
yeah.
really helping with brain as far as it's helping digest things as well. The
Hmm.
1, 3, and the 5, the 2, the 6, the 12, and the folate, we're more looking at neurotransmitter production. But with the HDA, you got me at a stump. I can't remember what the HDA is for, Dehan.
Yeah, well, it's
I have it
extracted
written.
in there, and it's in
Yeah, it's
the
part of the
it's
constituent
it's
of the
in
royal
Royal
jelly.
Jelly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. That's again, that's part of the Adrenal Health formula.
I have to look it up.
Like you mentioned at the beginning with
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals, they're not necessarily getting to the root cause of why this is happening, the mental health
Right,
problem.
right.
Whereas something like B vitamins and chamomile and royal jelly, they're actually giving the body things to run on, to actually use as tools to heal, right? That you
Well,
actually
yeah.
need for the mental health. So you're replenishing nutrients that you're probably deficient in, that most people are low in. So that's an important point, especially in the magnesium there, which is part of the Cerebral Calm formula.
Everybody needs to take 400 of magnesium a day. You can split it up. So this HDA, yep, it's an It's a hydroxy 2-declinic acid,
Hmm.
which is a major lipid component, several health benefits, anti-tumor activity, anti-inflammatory activity, anti-angiogenic activity. There's something else that kind of relates to,
Hmm. Yep. And that's in
yeah,
the royal jelly.
yeah, from the
Perfect.
queen bee, right? So it's collected from the queen bee. That's the only reason that that product is not vegan. It's just that one ingredient is the royal jelly.
And in this case, we're combining it with the eleuthero. We're putting it in the adrenal health formula because it's really
Mhm.
good for the adrenals. It nourishes. It's an anti-stress herb. It's also really popular in skin creams because it helps with collagen production.
Deconic acid, yep.
So it does a lot of different things. Royal
Everybody wants to
jelly,
be as
it's
healthy as the queen bee.
exactly. It's
They want
awesome for
all
hormone
those nutrients.
production, regulates hormones. So of course you want to make sure it's being done ethically, right? Not just
Oh, and we have a huge
bulk
problem
royal
with that
jelly
right
from
now.
China. Yeah.
Yeah, propolis and all that. We have to be careful right now with the worldwide issues of the bees. I mean, we've got a lot of people out there that are hand pollinating flowers right now. So the bees are, we've got so much environmental toxicity. We have so much building going on. So those little bees are, we don't have the bees, we don't have food
Right.
for pollination.
Absolutely. Okay, so we highlighted the cerebral calm, adrenal health, the be healthy. Can you quickly highlight the elevated mood formula? I think you have
Yeah,
that one there in front of you.
I
You held it up
do.
a moment. Yeah. Elevated mood. Tell us about this one and we'll wrap it up.
Okay, elevated mood, just two ingredients, folks. And so
Okay.
when looking at elevated mood, we're looking at the Afron saffron, which is again phytonutrient. So it's Afron is the patented name. Okay. And that Roman chamomile European extract. So superiority of these ingredients. So the Afron is the patented name for the saffron extract. So what this saffron has been studied for is we're looking at basically this product is the essential ashwagandha and the Afron saffron. The first thing that popped up for me, I thought was interesting, was this can be very effective for perimenopausal and premenopausal women that are kind of going up and down with not knowing what's going on in their body. Okay, so that's the first thing I
Interesting.
wrote down. Um, so secondly, improvement in the mood and psychological symptoms of the depression and anxiety for perimenopausal. And we're looking at either 14 milligrams a day or 28 at one. And so this guy, I know he's got 28 and it's 2 capsules. So it's 14 per one. So people can kind of base it on their own body.
Yes.
Um, what else did I find here? Okay, all of these studies, a large positive effect for treating depression and anxiety. Also a large positive effect when used as an alternative treatment with antidepressants or depressive symptoms. So again, you're gonna hear me say over and over, we're trying to avoid excess pharmaceuticals. If we can get these clinical studies across to people and people can look them up on these
Yeah.
controlled clinical studies,
Yeah.
they can see where it's coming from and the science behind it.
Right. Like this isn't even given a chance. The elevated
Right.
mood, the one you just held up there, like it has the saffron in it. We know for millennia, this used to be used in ancient Egypt times, Stacy, saffron. It's a strong antidepressant, and there's plenty of research on saffron, you know. So imagine people aren't even aware of this at all. They just go
Right.
straight to the
It's
pharmaceutical. That's
exactly.
it, right
And
away.
an elevated mood is going to be just that with two ingredients and completely, if people don't know, your listeners, Emerald Labs are we're completely additive free, gluten free, non-GMO, common allergen free, quick dissolving GMO pine bark capsules, and we're really fair-minded price. So the thing is to be able to get these products in somebody's hands that makes them feel empowered about that purchase and that they feel a difference. And right now, people are suffering so much from mood disorders, anxiety, depression, and we're trying not to allow this to be a stigma where you can just openly say, yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Give it a try. The ashwagandha been studied to, well, this is essential ashwagandha. So we know it promotes improvement in stress. We've got, this is what the results from this one study just came out, or not came out. This was a 2008, but it's
Okay.
on the ashwagandha. Central ashwagandha has been around for a long time. So day 30, improvement in stress and anxiety. Okay. And we're looking at 125 milligrams is what Dr. Stengler has in the elevated mood. Then after day 60, less fatigue, less flushing, less perspiration, less loss of appetite, less headaches, muscle pain, feelings of impending doom, palpitations, dry mouth, sleeplessness, forgetfulness, irritability, and an inability to concentrate.
From the elevated mood formula.
Yes, from the ashwagandha
From the
alone.
ashwagandha.
And then you just talked about negative mood and reducing this study says meta-analysis significantly lowered the severity of depression and similar efficacy to antidepressants.
Right.
So if we're showing conclusive evidence that it's working similarly to an antidepressant, why wouldn't we want to try a phytonutrient? Liver,
Yeah.
brain, not brain, but your mood, your personality could be so affected by all of those things that are out there right now. Wellbutrin, Xanax, whatever the rest
All
are.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been awesome, Stacy. Mental health, we've covered pharmacological stigmas. You mentioned the phytotherapy. We highlighted a few products like Cerebral Calm, Elevated Mood, the Be Healthy, which is the complex of B vitamins,
Adrenal.
and the Adrenal Health formula as well,
Yeah.
with the royal jelly, the eleuthero in there, rhodiola. I think that's included in there as well. So where do we want to leave it today, Stacey? That was awesome. We can go on for an hour, but give us a quick take home here for all of our guests. Give us a little recap, 20, 30 seconds, and we'll finish it there.
People can look at emeraldlabs.com. You can always go into your local health food store to see if Emerald Labs is carried and talk to the people on the floor. Most likely, they're going to be very well informed with it. But I think the takeaway should be that we need to kind of get rid of the stigma of mental disorders. It's been under the rug for so long, and just mental health. We don't even have to say mental disorders, because mental health can come and go for a lot of people, like the generalized anxiety disorder. Keep the B vitamins in your system, keep a healthy nutritional balanced diet, take a good multi, and take good care of watching what you're spending your supplements on, what you're spending on your supplements. You want to be able to absorb, you want them to be quality, superior ingredients, and be really clean, additive free.
Thank you for your time and for covering these other options that people might want to consider before going straight to only that one option, the pharmaceutical route, or taking it potentially together with it. Bring it to your psychologist, psychiatrist, and see if they're okay with you including this alongside some of your medications, but taken at different times of the day. Stacy, thank you for your time, and the whole team at Emerald. We appreciate you all.
Okay.
Have fun in Buffalo.
Thank you. Until next month.